Everyone at some point in their childhood dreams of doing something grand. Maybe you wanted to be a pop star or an astronaut. Everyone dreams big at first. Unfortunately, as people grow up, these dreams quickly fade as the reality of life creeps in and the difficulty of things really starts to ramp up. It's not easy to stick with the big ideas as pressure piles on from your surroundings, be it parents, teachers, or even your own peers. I'm sure plenty of people have heard before that they should give up on what they want to do because it isn't practical or only so many people will actually make it. It's something I've experienced personally before as well. That being said, it doesn't mean you have to give up. Choosing your own path in life is something that you should hold dear and take seriously. Another problem people do have though is the commitment to things in the long term. Long-term investing is something that means different things to different people, but I'm the guy writing the script, so I'm gonna pick the one that best fits my personal narrative. Long-term investing. Those who have the intention of holding an asset for multiple years and are not expected to liquidate their positions in the short term. Of course, we're talking about the commitment to follow your dreams and not talking about stocks, but the statement still applies. If you have the intention of following through on a goal or a dream, then you need to hold on to that and work things out over the course of time instead of pulling out when things seem to be a little bit tough. The market, or rather the way things are going with your goal, can fluctuate, but it's not always a sign that things are going wrong. Not everything always works out, but life is long enough to go through a hiccup, especially when you're young. What's the point of all the stuff I just said there? Well, it's the main problem the subject of this video tackles. Medalist is a manga written by Ikara Suruma, and speaking of long term, this serialization is actually their first time writing something that wasn't a one-shot, and man, do they start with an absolute banger. Don't shy away just because of the unfamiliarity with the author, because I'm here to tell you why this manga absolutely slaps with both its writing and art. I've never particularly been interested in figure skating whatsoever. Not any specific knock on the sport, but I don't personally watch much outside of American football and basketball, so when it comes to stuff from the Winter Olympics, my interest is basically at a zero. However, due to a reason I will bring back up later, Medalist piqued my interest as a manga, and so on a whim, I decided to pick it up, even if the premise itself wasn't that appealing to me. Very quickly, my reservations were completely washed away as we met the main two characters. Ignoring the opening color pages, the first character we meet is Tsukasa Akuraji, a former ice stand- Oh wait, okay, hold on. Okay, I suppose I should actually take the time to explain the sport of figure dancing at the absolute basic level and how it differs from ice dancing, which actually means the internet will be doing the explaining, so thank you randomshape.com article. The two sports are actually extremely similar to each other, but do have some key differences. Ice dancing is done on the ground and is comparable to something like a ballroom dance. It focuses mainly on the graceful and entertaining dancing that goes along with music and has a set rhythm, and they are scored based on the precision of their footwork. Figure skating, on the other hand, focuses more on the jumps, lifts, and spins, while they're scored instead more on how their footwork connects to the different moves. Both sports can be done with partners, but Medalist focuses on what is called a solo dance, which just kind of allows for skaters to do their own thing. I'm not qualified to talk much deeper on the subject, considering I wasn't even qualified enough to explain the basic idea on my own. So anyway, back to the characters, which I actually can talk about. Tsukasa is a former ice dancer who once competed in the Japan Figure Skating Championships along with his partner. They failed to make the podium, and ever since that point, he has moved on from the sport as a competitor. He tried to audition for different ice shows to try and make money on the entertainment side of things, but despite his talents, it's extremely difficult to get accepted. Tsukasa is also an earnest person and refuses to accept money from the family of his now deceased skating coach. His relationship with his coach is really the catalyst for what sets the main story in motion. Like a lot of sports, it's better to start learning at a younger age, but the thing with figure skating is that it's extremely difficult to catch up if you start late, as most kids begin training while just around 5 years old and retire from the sport competitively not too far into adulthood. Tsukasa had wanted to become a skater for a long time, but never got around to asking his parents about it. By the time he had the conviction to begin, he was already 20 years old, which put him out of favor with pretty much every coach imaginable. Pretty much, I say, because there was one person willing to take him in despite his incredibly late start. With her support, he was now able to compete among the best and can now pay that debt forward as he meets the star of the show in Medalist, Inori Yuitsuka. How do I put this? Inori might just be the most adorable character in existence. Words cannot properly state just how fucking cute this character is, but what words can do is explain why beyond just her cuteness, there is a character to take inspiration from. Inori Yuitsuka is a 5th grade girl who has a dream of skating, but like Tsukasa, has been too scared to ask her parents to support her goals. She isn't very good in school as Inori is very forgetful and she's prone to make many mistakes, and even 5th grade still needs constant help with her homework. This contributes to her lack of courage as everyone treats her as less professor and her mother, despite having good intentions overall, is bringing that courage down even lower by not having faith that her daughter can turn things around. There is one thing going for her, however. At the nearby skating rink from the age of 7, Inri has been going there and trading with an employee at the rink to gain access and skate on the ice. There's a group of people who feed birds, and so she trades in worms she gets for free entry. The older employee didn't mean for this type of exchange to go on for an extended period of time, but come on, how can you say no to that face? This little trade system allowed her to keep up to some degree with figure skating. She may not have had any proper training, but she wasn't starting from complete scratch, which meant all the difference. It also helped that whenever she did understand something, it would click with her immediately. The dynamic between Tsukasa and Inari is strong for a couple reasons. Their personalities, first off, mesh incredibly well together, but outside of that, Tsukasa is a coach that can truly relate to Inari. He's putting everything he has into coaching her up because he knows it's not too late for her. Things didn't end perfectly for him, but that's fine because now someone with more time and plenty of talent has entered his life, and he can lead her forward. He knows the steps that need to be taken in order to propel Inari into success, as he has traveled that same road before. It's as wholesome as a duo can get, as now Inari finally has someone that believes in her and is willing to dedicate themselves to her dreams. And Tsukasa can find some level of validation in using his experience to help someone who ended up in the same boat as he once was. Even ignoring the character work itself, just their interactions alone are enough to melt the heart. Before skating competitions and ranking tests, she will grab the strings of Tsukasa's hoodie because they remind her of worms, and that's comforting to her. It's a little out there, but it's cute, so who cares? I want to take a little bit of time now to completely gush about the art of this manga. Typically, I'm not overly picky about art. Of course, I have standards, but if it works is usually how I go on about things. Medalist is much more than if it works, it works. I'm sure you've noticed through the video, but the art just simply slaps. I have no knowledge about drawing or anything of that sort, so I have no idea what words to even type into the script to break down the art on a technical level, but there's really just something special about it. The way that the manga is able to invoke emotion in me has been second to none. I really think that in conjunction with the characters I care for so much, the expressiveness of the drawings really just brings out the emotion in anyone reading. The way the panels are laid out always maximizes the moment, and the manga is smart about scene portrayal. I typically dislike when emotional and important moments are intercut by some sort of comedic panel, but there are times in Medalist where it will do that, but I just absolutely love it. Anytime there's an emotional moment, it will take the center stage and be drawn with care, and this will probably leave the reader sitting there and taking it in for a moment before moving on. The comedic moment will usually be waiting on the next page as to not hurt that specific moment, which allows for both emotions to coexist with each other. Inari's speech to her mother to allow her to learn figure skating is a touching moment, and followed up by that immediately is Tsukasa's comedic attempts to follow up that speech with a bit of desperation on his part. Even the purposely low quality art is done well in a way. It still looks presentable, and in the faces of the characters there is still a very clear expression being worn. Finally, I wanted to shout out the manga for actually giving pretty good visual depictions of what the hell is going on. I don't know what 99% of figure skating moves are, so when it shows in good detail what they are and how the motions go, it really helps. A lot of action manga suffer from not being very connected in how one panel gets to the next, so it can be very hard to follow along. But Medalist makes sure to take the time to show step by step what the motions the character skating is going through. I actually found out about Medalist manga through its anime announcement, which I looked at the key visual and it seemed pretty decent, but looking at the Twitter replies, there was a completely different story being told, which typically I'd think, oh, you know, Twitter moment, but with the art being as good as it is, there are concerns I have in regards to the anime announcement. I'm not saying it's impossible to adapt, but let me level with you once again. It's not impossible for this anime adaptation to be good, and honestly, I hope I'm proven wrong, really, but Studio Engi has never produced a single good anime in their entire existence. When Uzaki-chan is your peak, it is only downhill from there. I have no idea what the hell Kadakawa was thinking giving them this one. A lot of it will come down not only to the animation, but more so the direction. Like I said earlier, the manga is put together like it is for a reason. Can the anime properly transition from hard-hitting scenes to the comedy? Can the voice actors sell the relationship between these characters? And will the animators put in the work to show the characters going through the motions? There are a lot of moving parts to this production that will need to line up to make it work, and only time will tell if those things can line up for a great production. If Engi can get it right though and produce their first ever good anime, I believe this one has a chance to make a splash in some capacity with the community. This manga has danced its way into my heart, and I absolutely adore reading it anytime there's a chapter update. Hopefully Kodansha will actually make physical volumes in English, but I kind of doubt this manga will be able to touch my shelf unless I just get the Japanese version for the aesthetic. I can't recommend reading it enough though, as it lives up to its name Medalist, having won multiple awards as a series. Even if you don't care for figure skating, there's still plenty you can take from this manga and apply to your own life. Just remember, if you can do something, then there's still time to chase your dreams. It's not too late. Thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, hit the like and subscribe buttons and comment down below your thoughts, and I hope to see you in another video.